Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide. Today, I wanted to talk about all things friend related. Well, no, it's more as a continuation of the past two parts. I didn't think it was going to take 3 parts to finish this episode series. I thought it was going to be one and done. But I guess not. So that's how I was going to roll. We're just going to continue with all things related to friendships and how to have strong friendships and get people to like you. How to know if you're in a toxic friendship, get out of bad friendships, frequently asked questions, blah blah blah, stuff like that. So yeah, I have a couple of announcements and things to share. First of all, grand announcement, drum roll please. That was a really bad drum roll. So I'm gonna be starting an email for this podcast once I hit 200 plays because I just want to start an email for this podcast. What I really want to do is have a Q&A section at the end of each episode. No, literally all my episodes are structured to be Q&A kind of format though. Anyway, I want how do I word this? My hands are moving insane right now. I want to have people send in questions relevant to the topics that I'm intending to talk about, and I want to answer these questions, and I just want to get in touch with people besides my Spotify comments that no one replies to. So yeah, I think an email would be better because I'm almost 13 and I'm way too young to have I know podcasters I listen to have Instagram accounts and other social media accounts, but I'm too young to do an Instagram or social media. And technically my mom could set one up for me and I could just use it for this podcast. But I don't want to deal with all the complications of maintaining an actual social media account. So yeah, no thanks. Anyway, so I'm really excited about that. I think I mentioned it in the description of my last episode because as I was typing up descriptions and stuff and trying to get the episode published, I thought up of this and then I put it in. I think I said 150 plays. No, I'm gonna do 200 because I don't know. My thought process is that doing 200 proves that people actually listen to this and more there are actually listeners who are willing to send in questions to me. So that's how my brain worked. So I'm really excited to start an email for this podcast, and I really hope people will actually send in things. I have to talk to my mom and get her to help me set it up because she set up my personal email and I don't know how to set one up. So that's gonna be fun, and I'm going to do that once I hit 200 plays. So people, share this podcast if you want to actually send in questions. So I'm really excited about that. And before moving on, I have a little story time for you people. Why am I saying it like that? Anyway, so this is not relevant to the story, but there are these 3 podcasts I listen to. One of them, she has episodes, most of them are under 15 minutes. I feel like they're really short. And that's where I got the idea for doing the one thing we're happy about and one thing we're grateful for at the beginning of each episode. The podcast is Girl Glow Up by Leah French. Go listen to it. It's a pretty good podcast. But since it's a personal development podcast, I feel like these podcasts should be more I'm trying to do conversational. I'm trying to make it you having a conversation with your best friend or something. I don't know, but that's my brain working. So yeah, I wanted to make these more conversational and I want you to know about me. I don't want to be an outsider giving you advice. I feel like if I share my life stories, you'll get to know who I actually am and who this advice, who I am, what's my personality, um, how much experience does this person have, how do I know what they're telling me is good advice? It should feel like a conversation with your best friend. That's my goal, but I don't think it's gonna be like that. That's my goal. Hopefully, I don't really know. But yeah, the one podcast, the Girl Go Out podcast. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good podcast now, but she just doesn't share anything about herself besides the one thing I'm grateful for and happy about. That's it. She doesn't share anything personal, so it kind of feels like I'm just taking advice from an article that I read online, a blog post. I don't really know. I feel like with podcasts, you should know about the person as I explained earlier. So that's my thought process. And this other podcast I listen to, her episodes are 50 minutes long, each of them, and she shares a lot about herself. 20 minutes of it is her just yammering about her life, And, like, yeah, that's good and all. Like, I know her. Like, I feel like I understand her and stuff. I think that's her goal. But it's kind of too much, in my opinion. It's too much for that. So I feel like, and then this other podcast I listened to, the That Girl Guide by Ellie Johnson and Paige Morris. I think that's how you say their names, but just search it up. It's a good podcast. I love it. It's one of my favorite podcasts. She shares the right amount about herself, and like her episodes are 30 to 40 minutes long. They're the perfect length and right frequency and all of that. And she shares enough about herself, like you know the person, but like she still focuses on the actual content. That's the kind of podcast I'm trying to have. I feel like I've only been up until this point. I've only been sharing like stories relevant to the things, but not like actual personal stories. So I wanted to give you more of that. And another thing I just thought of is that this is the 10th episode. So yay me! I can't believe we've gotten to 10 episodes already. I've had this podcast for like 3 and something months. I think so. I don't know. I started it like August 1st, I believe. So September 1st, October 1st, November 1st. Yeah, it's been like 3 months ish. 3.5 months. Yeah, 3.5 months. So this is our 10th episode. Yay! Exciting news. And back to my life story. So, with Thanksgiving just around the corner, this was my friend's idea. I've never heard of this before, but it's like a Friendsgiving. So we were going to do one. We discussed this like October of last month. No, what am I saying? Like the beginning of last month. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. And I apologize if my voice sounds weird. It's like my nose is like clogged up ish and stuff. So, my voice sounds just weird. Yeah, I apologize. So we did a Friendsgiving, right? And blah blah blah. So it was last Monday that we actually had the Friendsgiving, and it was really fun and all. It was on like a field a minute walk away from my friend's house. So we did it in a field, and it was all fun and stuff. But then, like towards the end, we were all just like chilling out. Some people were playing volleyball. Some people were kicking a soccer ball around. We were playing Jenga with like the weird balls, like doing random stuff. It's just chill, fun time, I guess. I don't really know. So yeah, we're doing all that, and my friend's sister literally runs for her life towards where me, my friend, and then where me and 2 or 3 of my other friends are. She runs toward us. She looks like she saw a ghost. Like she is scared. She's 9 or 10 years old. She's younger than us. So, yeah. And she's breathing really hard. I'm like, what happened? What happened? And then I call my friend Addie over because yeah, that's her sister. And she's like breathing really hard and she's not speaking. I'm like, what happened? Because I'm genuinely concerned. She's just like pointing over there. I'm like, what happened? Huh? And and then my other friend's like, look, there's a dog running around. And we're like, is it a stray? And then someone goes, yeah, it's a stray dog. I don't know. What do? We need to help it. And then we see that has a leash. Not a leash. Sorry. I don't know what's called. Like a collar thing. So it's obviously not a stray. It has an owner. So we're like, well, where's the owner? So we're just like standing there for 10 minutes trying to get some of my friends are trying to get the dog under control and like get it to come towards them because they're not scared of it. But me and my 2 other friends and then Addie, we're trying to help my friend's sister because she is terrorized. She's scared. So we're trying to help her. And 10 minutes later, we see the owner, and it's like a lady, and she's walking on the road. Well, there's a parking lot right next to the field. So she's standing over there. There weren't any cars, so obviously she was fine. It's not a crowded place at all. She was fine. But what happened is she's just watching the dog. I think she was there when she saw the dog terrorize my friend's Addie's sister. But I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was only paying attention to my friend's sister. So yeah, I keep her behind me and stuff. I'm the one who stays with her. And my other friend, Ash, she stays with me as well. So it's just insane. And then the lady comes and she's like to the field, like where we are, because we're on the field and like on the edge of the field. We have like our food. We have like some tables because I brought a table and stuff. We have the tables and then some benches that are already in the field. We're using those, like our food and our stuff is there. So we're just over there, and the lady walks over to where we are from the road there to there. And the dog is running around, freaking hyperactive in circles, terrorizing children. So that's how I would describe it, terrorizing children. But yeah, so that's just like stuff. And then some stuff happens, I don't know. And the dog is like, some of my friends are still trying to get it under control. I'm staying with my Addie's sister, and some of us are in a corner. We're all over the place, basically. And I think in the meantime, what some of my friends do, they text their dads, because most of them, like 3 of my friends who came to the Friendsgiving live within like a 1-minute walk away. So they were texting their dads to come because, yeah. Thank God they did, because otherwise we would have stuck in that problem and trying to get the dog out and the lady out for like, okay, it's like a public field, but she should have some common sense. If her dog is terrorizing children, she should take it out, because the field is clearly occupied. Like, don't just let your dog run free if it's hyperactive and stuff. So, common sense, guys. Yeah. So they text their dads, and then their dads come, and then they're talking to the lady and stuff. And my other friend, M, she supposedly told. So we got mad at the lady for no reason, and I'm not mad at my friend at all. And so the lady was like taking one of the plates and like putting food on it, because we had a bunch of food, and I'm totally fine with that. I do not care about the food at all, because we had so much of it anyway. Because it's like 20 people came and brought food for like 15 people, and no one even ate half of it. It's like, yeah. So she's like, okay, you can have some food, because she's way too nice, not gonna lie. But yeah, she's really nice, my friend M. So she takes the food, and we're just really pissed off because, first of all, her dog is terrorizing children, like, who are younger than us. Like, if it was, okay, one of my friends also got, like, the dog in, like, the other end of the field. The dog ran circles around my friend. I can't speak. Jay. We'll call her Jay. So, yeah. And it's running around in circles, and then my friend trips and falls on the grass. Luckily, the grass, because there's an area of rocks right next to her. She falls, like, borderline on the ground, like, luckily. So, yeah. And then she gets up, and the dog trips her again, and then scratches her hand. I did not know this until, like, the very end, once the lady left, I think. I don't really know. And we were all, like, trying to help my Addie get cleaned up and pick everything up and put it away, because people were leaving. It was, like, 3:30, so everyone was leaving, and people's parents were coming to get them, stuff like that. So, yeah. And that's really fun. And the lady, supposedly my friend's dads were talking to the lady. My friend's dads were talking to the lady, at least 3 of them. They were talking to her, and they were trying to get her out. And supposedly my friend texted us later, because I was, like, all over the place, because I'm the one person who's, like, everyone's friend there. So I'm, like, all over the place, because some of you people are asking me different things. I know a lot of people, so yeah. And she's like, why do I have to leave? Hello, your dog came, terrorized a 9-year-old, tripped my friend, scratched her like 3 times. No, 2, tripped her twice, scratched her, and I'm pretty sure the dog is dead by now, or at least very sick. I feel bad about that, but it's just, yeah. Because my friend made chocolate chip cookies, my friend Jay. So she made them, and then supposedly the dog ate them. She said she was freaking out later, and she was like, the dog ate them, and what do we do now? And I'm like, well, it's gonna die. So yeah, it might be dead already. Who knows? I am concerned for myself that I'm saying that so casually, but I'm just mad. So I keep saying that. Oh my gosh. And then what happens is the lady supposedly was like to my friend, to my other friend. She was like, keep the dog away from the food. Excuse me, your dog is the one that came over here running around in circles, all hyperactive, terrorizing children, and blah, blah, blah. You're the one that has no common sense, taking her food, and then telling us, keep the dog away from the food. No, we didn't even try, okay? We were protecting the food for our own sake. We were, like, standing by the tables and benches, but we didn't care if it got to it or not, because, like, it's her dog. It's her responsibility, not ours. So, yeah, that's really fun. And it's just insane. Yeah. So people have common sense and don't let your dogs terrorize children. And then my friend Addie at the end, she was like, okay, that was an insane course of events, because this is like 40 minutes later. We're all like sitting on a blanket and talking. and trying to get Addie cleaned up and trying to clean up everything because it's a public space. So yeah. And she's like, okay, first of all, if my dog started chasing someone, it would have a leash if it's that hyperactive, and I would take my dog, apologize, and get the heck out of there. Like, I would take the dog, apologize to the people who were terrorized, get out of there in 5 minutes. It should not take 40 minutes for this entire situation. It should not take 40 minutes and 3 people calling their parents to solve the situation. It was insanity. So, like, just I didn't get it. Like, why? She was being so weird. Like, how is she a pet owner? Don't you have to, like, get papers and responsibility stuff done to be a pet owner? I don't know. She probably got that dog astray. I don't really know or care. So, yeah, because she's very irresponsible and lets her dog terrorize children. So, that's just really insane. Something that happened to me. Yeah, I'm really hoping we don't run into the same person again because a bunch of my friends live in that neighborhood, so. Yeah. Anyway, insane story that happened to me. Now let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about this week. So one thing I'm grateful for is my book because yesterday, since I don't have soccer because it's the off season now, it's like a 5-month break. On Saturdays I have nothing to do because most of the time it's usually occupied by my soccer game, and then we usually do other stuff on Saturdays. But these days, if I don't have soccer, it's just boredom. So I was bored to death yesterday. None of my friends could FaceTime. My other friend went somewhere and couldn't come outside, and I was just bored to death. So I read a book, and I'm grateful for that book for keeping me sane and keeping me from dying of boredom. So yeah, and what I'm happy about is probably the Friendsgiving because regardless of the dog situation that literally took forever to deal with, it was actually really fun, and I got to see a bunch of my friends, especially those who I don't have any classes with this year, or like very few classes with. I get to see them. It's fun, good socializing time, I guess. I don't really know what to say. Yeah, it was so fun though, so I'm really happy about that. Okay, now we're 17 minutes and 20 seconds into the episode. Let's actually get started with what I was going to talk about, which is friendship stuff. Okay, so continuing where we left off last episode, I wanted to talk about what to do if you feel left out or excluded by your other friends. Maybe all your friends make plans to go shopping without you or something like that, and you feel upset. Most of the time, you getting excluded or left out is because of slight miscommunication. Sorry, I just whacked something against my table. Maybe they thought you were too busy to hang out on a certain day because you had homework or sports practice. Or if you're older, your friends might have thought you were too busy with work to go to dinner on a weekday. Or you might have said you were busy on a certain date, maybe you had a meeting or something else, but it got rescheduled, or you sent the wrong date by accident. See, small communication mishaps like these are most often the reason why you get left out. Or if they sent out an invite for a certain event, you just never responded, or maybe they forgot to send the invite. Small mishaps like this happen. Make sure you clearly communicate your availability, and likely the situation won't happen again. Maybe your other friends maybe all your other friends have something in common without you and didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. For example, if you're a vegan and your friends went out for ice cream, they likely didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable because you couldn't eat the ice cream. Let's say, because I know a lot of places offer like vegan options these days, but some places don't. So it was not. Let's just take it as it wasn't a place that offered vegan options. They didn't want to make you feel weird or uncomfortable because of your dietary restriction or something similar to that. Or they went out to a pottery studio on Sunday and didn't invite you because they didn't think you were interested in doing pottery or I don't really know. Yeah. It's easy to spiral into a world of catastrophic thoughts like they don't like me or they think I'm weird or thoughts like that. But these thoughts can be very unproductive for your emotional state. Thinking these kinds of things or making assumptions doesn't do you any good. They don't just leave you out in spite of not liking you, or maybe they do, but they just won't leave you out if I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. Maybe they planned the event spontaneously or thought you simply aren't interested or didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. See, small reasons like this. And in event of being excluded, here are some things you can do. Have some self-care time. Sometimes when you get left out or of a friend event, you might feel sad and need some good me time. Treat yourself. You do you. Honestly, I don't really care. When people leave me out, I use that as an excuse. I use being excluded as an excuse to whatever things I wanted to do. Instead of dwelling in your feelings, make good use out of that time and do something fun and therapeutic, like by yourself or with others. Some things you can do by yourself are taking yourself out somewhere, like a solo date or whatever, having a solo picnic in a nearby park, going on a long walk or run. Just like go to a park and literally sit on a swing for an hour. I do that sometimes. It's fun. I don't know, therapeutic. Yeah. Listen to a podcast like this one while doing some other task. Yeah. Reading a book in one sitting, having a spa day at home, or getting some cleaning done. And you can listen to my podcast while doing the cleaning. But let's say your friends all went out shopping or some lunch or something like that. You can still have the same fun. Just invite a different friend to go with you. Treat yourself and have fun. Honestly, don't worry about something that won't matter in 5 years. This is something that I learned from a podcast I listen to, and it's what I ask myself every single time I worry about something. If I did something embarrassing, like I'm in 7th grade right now, so if you do something embarrassing in 7th grade, like I have plenty of times actually, I don't think that one time you tripped and landed on your face in the hallway will actually matter when you're in 12th grade and frantically trying to apply for colleges, scholarships, and student loans. If I do or say something and find myself worrying about it, like, yeah, then I ask myself whether it will matter in 5 years. Just about all of the time, like literally 99.999% of the time, the answer is no. So I refuse to let myself dwell in that and focus my attention on other things that are actually useful and not stupid instead. Those are my tips and advice, unsolicited advice, on how to deal with being excluded. Once again, you can ask your friends if you feel upset by it, and it happens repeatedly, even if you don't make any communication mishaps or stuff like that. Now, I wanted to kind of have a mini Q&A on friendship. Well, no. Yeah, all of these episodes are structured kind of in a Q&A format. More like an FAQs or something that just might help someone else if they're wondering the same thing, because I don't actually have questions from you guys. So, yeah. Kind of things like I wish someone told me sooner, and I thought these questions could potentially be something someone else in this world, or because I have international listeners, wonders what to do about, or if they're in such a situation. Number 1. How to maintain long-distance friendships. I love to answer questions about long-distance friendships because I have so many of them myself. These kinds of friendships can be complicated, but they don't have to be if you take my advice. Ignore any sounds you hear in the background. I think someone's trying to ring my doorbell or acknowledge me again, but yeah. Number 1. Connection makes up 80% of a friendship. This is the reason why most long-distance friendships and romantic relationships fail. For a normal friendship like friends you have at school, you see them pretty much every day, and potentially outside of school as well, or wherever you see them, school or work, I don't care. This makes it easy to maintain the friendship because you see them all the time, and that's basically your friendship. How to explain it. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Ignore my Google Home right now. Yeah, just anyway, moving along. But with long distance, you don't really get to see them that often, so it becomes hard. If you both truly care about each other, then you guys would actually make an effort to contact each other and keep the friendship alive. This is an easy way to tell if these friends are good for you or not. If they make an effort to call you or something like that, then that friendship is good for you. Keep it. But if they don't, I don't really think they care. All in all, connection is key. Number 2, try to meet up or call as often as you can. If you space your bonding times or hangouts so far apart, then each time you see each other, it's going to become awkward to be around them because you'll just feel and become more and more distant. My best friend lives on the other side of the world, but we text each other all the time on Snapchat, and whenever we do call, it's not awkward at all. And I would assume if we saw each other in person, it would be mostly normal. On the other hand, I have this other friend. She lives about an hour away from me. I barely call her or get in touch with her. So in December of last year, I stupidly invited her to my birthday party. It was hella weird. I had no clue what to say to her and barely talked to her. It was just pure awkwardness. So long story short, keep in touch and learn from my mistakes. Know that no matter how hard you try, the friendship will somehow or the other drift apart. This fact is just inevitable, and I know this from experience. It is freaking unavoidable. Both of you will somewhat drift apart no matter how hard you try and no matter what happens. That's okay, and that's normal. I know that me and my best friend are evidently not as close as we used to be, but we're still pretty close. And we're still best friends. So, yeah. Just know that it's not avoidable and inevitable, and just live with it. It's a fact. It's an unsaid rule of life. It's an unsaid fact of life that long-distance friendships, evidently keep getting less close. So, those are all my tips and advice and life stories on maintaining a long-distance friendship. Just remember that you guys being far apart doesn't mean the friendship has to end. Now, let's move on to our next question. How to make friends as an introvert. Okay, so this is really weird, but I am complete extrovert. But so many of my friends are complete freaking introverts. So that's just weird. I don't know. Yeah. Number one, make more friends through your existing friends. I remember a while ago I asked my one introverted friend how she makes friends because she has a decent amount of friends for someone who's so freaking introverted. She told me that just about all her friends from her one friend in 5th grade, and that's her main group of friends. And then that one friend introduced her to other friends, so on and so forth. And yeah, that's how it works. Simple. Number two, connect your hobbies and friends. Hobbies like reading, cooking, and art might be viewed as solo activities, but there are ways to turn these into group activities. You could join or start a book club, take a group cooking class, or take a group class from a local art studio or pottery studio. Or you could join or start a local art group. This is a good way to cultivate your skills and make some new like-minded friends. However, the only thing I will say about this is that it's probably easier for adults to make friends this way than teens or people in my age range, but that's okay. Number three, change your behaviors, not your identity. This is really important if you're trying to make more friends as an introvert, because if changing your character, changing your identity is just so much different from changing your behaviors, because behaviors are a person's actions and identity is how a person just is in general. So change your behaviors and actions, not who you are, as your personality. So yeah, trying to make more friends, it doesn't mean you have to actually ingrain these extroverted behaviors into your identity and your character. And anyway, these personality traits don't change very easily. No matter what, you are still going to be the same person who needs at least some solitude every day. And that's just who you are. If you actually try and change your character traits, you're just going to end up draining yourself and not liking it. You won't even like yourself either, because you're going to be different. And it's just, no. In a study in 2020, researchers asked 131 students to change their behavior for 2 weeks. For one of those weeks, they asked the students to adopt traits that they associated with extrovertedness, such as talkativeness, spontaneity, and assertiveness. And for the second week, the students were asked to do the opposite, to show more quiet, introverted, deliberate behaviors. The results showed that just about everyone, mainly those who actually wanted to become more extroverted, showed improvements in their general well-being during the extroverted week. And during the introverted week, their well-being went down significantly. With that note, it would seem that changing your behavior would have a positive impact on your general well-being as well. The researchers note that, however, the language used in the prompts could have primed participants to expect one outcome over the other. Number 4, revive old friendships. One of the best ways to find more friends as an introvert is to revive old friendships. Introverts have a tendency to just let the friendship fade because they fear the awkwardness and possible rejection that comes with trying to revive these old friendships. They don't necessarily do it intentionally, but it's kind of a thing that happens because staying in touch with these person, they get busy with other things, and just staying in touch with this person kind of falls to the bottom of their priority list. It's far too easy for an introvert to let these relationships slip if it takes some extra work and possible awkward feelings to keep them going. Because that's kind of a thing they fear, I guess. I don't know. The good news is that these old friendships can be revived, assuming that you have some form of contact, like email addresses, phone numbers, or shared friends that could maybe tell you where these other friends are. In case all of that fails, try searching for them on social media, because literally everyone has social media these days. Some kind of platform, I don't really know, just search it up, yeah. It is definitely possible that some of your old friends won't be interested in reviving the friendships, but the odds are in your favor, and the chances are pretty good that they will, because honestly, everyone wants more friends. If these attempts to get in touch with them are successful, Try and plan in-person meetings with them if possible, since in-person meetings are more likely to obtain you a lasting friendship than online contact. Remember that trying to revive these friendships might be hard, but also remember that there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. Number 5, study the art of body language. Many people significantly underestimate the impact of body language on communication. A person's posture, facial expressions, and the positioning of their arms and legs can communicate small yet meaningful clues that indicate your openness to socializing. Others will pick up on these clues both consciously and subconsciously and react to your signalings. They will only react positively to your signaling if your body language suggests eagerness to socialize. If your arms or legs are folded, your eyes are cast downward, and you're looking away, and your facial expression is blank and sad, you'll be sending out a "get away from me, I don't want to socialize" kind of vibe. But on the other hand, if you keep your arms and legs open, actually make eye contact, and keep a friendly face, people will view you as a friendly person and be naturally drawn towards you. I've talked about this research study before, but I'll talk about it again because it's relevant. In a University of Wyoming study, about 100 undergraduate women looked at photos of another woman in one of 4 body positions: smiling in an open body position, not smiling in an open body position, Oh my gosh, what am I saying? Okay, sorry. One of 4 body positions: smiling in an open body position, not smiling in an open body position, smiling in a closed body position, and not smiling in a closed body position. I literally cannot speak today. I am so sorry. The results showed that the woman in the photo was liked the best when she was smiling, regardless of her body position. I would also assume that the woman was liked the most when she was smiling in an open body position, because the combination of those 2 gestures and expressions would make her seem the most approachable and friendly and attractive. Multiple other research studies have shown that smiling when you first meet someone ensures that they'll remember you later. So as an introvert, study the art of body language and utilize it to your advantage. Those were all my tips on how to make friends as an introvert. I hope that they help all the introverts listening, and remember to not drain your social battery completely in this process. Now, let's move on to a different question. What to do if your friend cuts you off? 1, this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Unless you actually did want them gone from your life and the universe just so happened to listen to you, it's going to be hard. Don't suppress those emotions and don't feel guilty about feeling the way you are. It's natural to feel sad. It's a natural instinctive reaction to feel emotions. It's natural to feel sad, hurt, angry, or even betrayed by this person, especially if they were close to you. Just let yourself feel without suppressing your emotions, because suppressing your emotions will only make the entire situation worse. Try talking to another friend about it if you're the type who can help their emotions become less of a burden by talking about them. Or for my introverts and people who prefer to keep their emotions to themselves, try writing about how you feel in a journal. I am a person who prefers talking about how I feel, but sometimes I can't bring myself to do that. So journaling really helps in that scenario. When a friend cuts you off, you might be caught in a wild storm of emotions, but don't suppress them. Just let them be. Number 2, try and talk to the person about it. Even though you guys aren't friends anymore, you have the right to know why they cut you off. Set up a date and time to talk and ask them any questions you might have. It might be hard, but it's something that just must be done. Number 3, don't become friends again. This might be easy for someone like me who holds grudges for a literal eternity, but it can be next to impossible for an optimist who is way too freaking forgiving. I have a story for you guys. Okay, I have this one friend. Okay, it's the same friend from my birthday party. We were really close, and then some random stuff happened, and I don't really remember why. She was being mean and acting strangely. Like, really mean and acting strangely, and, like, toxic, I guess. I was the one who cut her off, stopped talking to her, blocked her number, basically hated her. We did become friends-ish again after, like, a year of me holding a grudge against her, but it was just weird. It didn't feel, like, natural. It didn't feel like a natural friendship. Shortly afterwards, I moved, and now we haven't contacted each other in well over a year. It's just weird. Like, I don't know what I would say to her if I ever saw her again. But yeah. And also, if they decided to cut you off in the first place, they didn't want you to be in their life, and therefore they don't deserve you or your energy. They cut you off, they're forgotten. Those were my tips and life stories on what to do if a friend cuts you off. I hope they help you now or at some point in time. Where was I? Yeah, at some point in time, because this is just stuff worth knowing, because You never know when you'd run into a scenario like this, or someone you know runs into a scenario like this. It's just a fact of life, so it's worth knowing. Now, moving on to our next question. What to do if only one certain friend in a group of friends is toxic? This is a really complicated, awkward situation, but I hope my tips can help. Number 1, listen to the perspectives of everyone involved. Everyone will have a different view on the situation because everyone's thought process is different from anyone else. And in order to deal with the situation, you need to listen to everyone's view on this problem. It's natural for everyone to side with one person or the other. So just kind of expect that. You might still want to be friends with that one person for the sake of avoiding such scenarios like this, but the specific person doesn't deserve you or your energy. So this is all inevitable. Number 2, know that just because you aren't friends anymore with that one person doesn't mean you can't be friends with the people who side opposing you, or side with the person you aren't friends with anymore. Just know that you won't be as close with them anymore, and that it might be awkward at first, but yeah, it's just life, unsaid rule of life. But if you don't want to be friends with them anymore, that's also perfectly fine. Another thing that's just normal. But if you don't need to remain friends with them if you don't want to. You might even need to find new friends, but that's also okay. Being alone is better than being with those friends anyway. Put yourself out there, and your people will eventually find you. Those were all my tips and advice on what to do if one certain friend in your friend group is being toxic or whatever. I hope this helped you. Now I want to talk about what to do in the scenario of friend poaching, and what to do if you find yourself in such a situation. This is something that isn't very commonly talked about, so I hope it helps you recognize if you're in such a situation, and I hope my tips help you if you do realize you're in such a situation. Number 1, okay, first things first, what is friend poaching? On Google, it defines friend poaching as when you have this one friend. Then you introduce that friend to another one of your friends. Soon after, that friend your pre-existing friend puts more effort into their friendship with the other person, new friend, than you, simultaneously making you seem like a less desirable friend and devaluing both original friendships in that process. Number 2, I have a little life story for you guys, again. But yeah, I used to have this group of friends, and in that circle, I had this one, air quotes, friend. We'll call her R. So I didn't really like her very much, but I didn't want to break up our whole friend group by choosing not to remain friends with her anymore. So me and this group would hang out outside pretty much every single day, since we all live so close to each other, and this was one of my best friends who used to live near me. My friend R didn't join us very often since she was busy, and I don't really know why. I'm positive that she absolutely hated me, but she didn't say anything, probably because she knew that if we stopped being friends, everyone would side with me, and she has no life, so she would lose all her friends, and didn't want that, and blah blah blah. I don't really think anyone else in my friend group liked her very much either. Yeah, no, I don't think they did, because, yeah. So, but, yeah, she knew that everyone was going to side with me. And, yeah, anyway, she just kept trying to get the rest of our friends to, not like me or whatever, or, stop being friends with me. But it didn't work, because, in all honesty, who would want to be friends with a person like that? Shortly after, we all moved to different places, and fast forward just about 2 years, none of us talk to her, none of us are friends with her, and don't know about her whereabouts. I don't know if she still lives where we all used to live, but yeah, just don't know. I am not in touch with her anymore at all because, yeah, and we aren't friends, but I know that all of my friends would side with me if we split up, because if they didn't, they would have told me so before the big split up, which is the time when we all moved. It's an example from my own life about friend poaching in general, to help you kind of realize if you're in such a situation. Okay, friend poaching isn't commonly talked about, but my life story might help you realize what exactly this situation looks like, and it can help you figure out what to do. So number 3, try telling the friend poacher how you feel. Your feelings, thoughts, and opinions are valid and matter. Tell them that their actions and words hurt your feelings. A sign of a toxic friend is if they tell you that your feelings and thoughts don't matter. A genuine friend would recognize their hurtful behaviors and stop. Also talk to the other person who is being involved. They won't know how you feel until you actually tell them about it, because feelings aren't very easily communicated, and I feel like people need to be more open. So just be that kind of open and tell them, because they're not going to know unless you freaking tell them. Number 4, try to strengthen both friendships individually. When friend poaching happens, both friendships become weakened. In order to gain them back and build them up again, they need to be strengthened. Try planning some kind of hangout with each person alone, because if you decide to invite both of them, then you're just going to become a third wheel and all your efforts become wasted, and it kind of just destroys the point of everything. Number 5, don't actually actively try to keep these friends separated, because it's obvious and they're going to confront you about it, and I don't think anyone wants to deal with that, and also just worsens the entire situation. Hanging out with each person individually is way different from actively trying to keep them separated. That's only going to make you seem controlling and possessive and blah blah blah, because actively trying to keep these friends apart is only going to worsen the entire situation for you and possibly worsen everything else. And it's just going to be blah. No one wants to deal with it. So those were my tips and advice bits on how to deal with a friend poaching situation. I hope these help you. Now, this is all I have to say. This is the end of our episode series. So, yeah, there isn't going to be a fourth part of this. Yeah, it's just a wide expanse of topics to cover. I guess that's why it took so long. But, yeah. Now to end our podcast episode, I have a quote for you guys from, let's see here. The author is unknown, but the quote goes, "It has been said that everlasting friends go long periods of time without speaking and never question the friendship. These friends pick up like they just spoke yesterday, regardless of how long it has been or how far away they live, and they don't hold grudges against each other. They understand that life is busy, and you will always love these people." That's the quote. Bye guys. Drink some water, share and follow this podcast, because I'm going to start an email at 200 plays. Remember that. And I love you all.